In Matthew chapter 9, it calls God the Lord of the harvest. Right now, we are in a season at First Cleveland where God is showing us what harvest looks like. Hundreds of people have recently joined our church, and the Lord is bringing families from literally across the country to Cleveland, Tennessee. Families that are hungry for God's word and wanting to grow and looking for a place to worship. And it's been exciting welcoming these new families and getting them connected as a part of our church. Right now, we are in a season where we as a church are looking forward to the future. And as awesome as this season has been, we are anticipating even greater things as we move forward into Generations Phase 2 in this project. You may not realize, but in about 6 or 7 months, our new kids building will be filled with people and fully functioning. I'm talking about a state-of-the-art facility that's been specifically designed for the next generation. This space will essentially add an additional 60,000 square feet of ministry space on our campus. And I believe our church will reach hundreds of new families that aren't here yet once that building is complete. As you probably know, when the children move into that new space, we will also be launching into a renovation season of our existing kids area. This renovated space will become our new senior adult wing, our chapel, office space, and it'll show us how we can launch several new Bible studies in classrooms all across our campus. And I say all of that just to remind you, in just a handful of months, with all of this additional ministry space, we are anticipating many new people and new families to join us on this journey and be on this campus each week for Bible study and worship, especially on Sunday mornings. And the big question we're all asking right now is, where in the world are we going to put all these people? As you know, our greatest problems at First Baptist Cleveland these days are in the area of space and parking. Now, we're addressing the parking situation. The additional carts have definitely helped, and the new lot on the north part of the campus has helped us big time by adding those additional 400 spots. So parking is being addressed. But the one place we always seem to feel squeezed, the rooms that seem to stay full on this campus, as you know, are the worship center and the commons. And we know that this is something that needs to be addressed before we open our new building. You know, over the past several months, our team, along with the Ministry Advisory Council, have been discussing how we can accommodate even more people in worship and also how we can prepare for the future, believing that our greatest days are still yet to come. At the conclusion of all of our conversations, we've decided that God is leading our church to launch in 100 days 4 services on Sunday mornings. And with this new schedule, it's going to be exciting as we add an additional service. It'll allow us to reach even more people. Let me go ahead and give you a glimpse of what these services will look like. The first service will be at 8 o'clock in the morning. The second service will be at 9. The third service will be at 10:15. And our final service on Sunday will be at 11:30. Now, we want to create environments where every person can worship the Lord in their own heart language. And by saying that, we're going to be making the 8 o'clock service a classic service. If you're a person who wakes up in the morning and you say, man, I worship the Lord best when I'm singing some of the old classic hymns of the faith, then this service is going to be customized and designed with you in mind. 8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have a classic service. Now, by adjusting this schedule, it'll give us 2 prime hours instead of just 1 prime hour. If you come on Sunday morning, our services are distinctly different right now, but the 9:45 service is by far jam-packed because it really is a prime hour for worship. Now, the 2 hours in the middle, those prime hours, are going to be at 9 and 10:15. And those hours are going to be very similar to what we're experiencing on our campus right now, with a blend of all kinds of musics and all kinds of styles. It's just going to be very well done, an excellent worship experience for the whole family. And then that final service will be at 11:30. And where we're kind of going this way with the 8 o'clock service to accommodate the classic service, we're also going to go this way when it comes to that 11:30 service. And it's going to be a little bit more modern, a little more contemporary, and the volume is probably going to be a little bit louder than the other services on Sunday morning. This allows us to have more people in worship services than we've ever had before. It'll also allow us to have more small groups because adding this additional hour will give us some flexibility in adding new groups and new Bible studies that we don't have the space to accommodate right now. You know, we're very early in this process, but over the next several months, we're going to be working with small group leaders and teachers regarding times and locations. And so if no one's reached out to you yet and you're a small group leader, be patient with us. I promise we're thinking about you and we're working hard to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to meet on this campus. You know, this is going to give us a lot of new options and new styles. It'll allow us to reach people that we've never been able to reach before. We're also going to be moving to 1-hour services starting on September the 10th. I want to say this again. We're moving to a 1-hour service model beginning on September 10th once we start this 4-service Sunday. And what that means is right now we basically have an hour and 15-minute services on a Sunday morning, an hour and 15 minutes. By shaving 10 to 15 minutes, it's going to get us in that 1-hour zone and allow us to transition a little bit faster and get you to lunch about the same time you're going now. In other words, right now we have an 11:15 service that's over at about 12:30. Well, the 11:30 service that's going to be starting here in just a little bit will also be getting out at 12:30. So if you go to the final service on Sunday, you're getting out at the same time as you would be if you're going to that service right now. Listen, every great harvest requires pruning. We have a long history of seeing that. Our church has seen this throughout our entire time here in Cleveland. In fact, we've made adjustments, we've tweaked schedules, we've made changes for nearly 170 years. And God has used all of these changes and all of this pruning to get us to this part in the story. Well, we're in another harvest season today. And as we prune our schedule in the days ahead, we're believing that God will use these adjustments and allow us to reach more people and make more disciples and make an even greater difference in our community. I can't tell you how excited I am to be a part of this church, a church that God is blessing and using and growing and maximizing for His kingdom and His glory. It's an honor to be your pastor, and I can't wait to see what He's going to do with us and through us and amongst us as we move forward by faith together. September 10th is going to be a huge day. We're launching a new 4-service schedule. We have a new campus that's going to be launching in Ottawa, and we have 100 days until that day. So join me in praying and preparing and just getting ready to see what God's going to do in the days to come. God bless you. Have a great day. Hey, you didn't think that was the end of the video, did you? We're not just talking about 100 days from now. We have a full summer of exciting things that are coming up, so stick around for this month's first update. You know, out of all the first updates, this is the one I would say that it would be wise to go ahead and just lean in today because we are about to hit you with a lot of information. We're going to hit you square between the eyes with it too. It's going to be good. How about that update we just gave the church? We gave them a 100-day forecast on what's going to happen on September 10th.
We have got exciting days coming before us. It's going to be a great fall. It's going to be an unbelievable summer, great fall, and then we get pushed towards the winter when the building opens. Woo, it's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. You know what I was just reminded of? April 1st video, I told everybody that you made the senior PGA tour.
Well,
but I was wrong. You made the Yale tennis team instead. You got a good sweatshirt on.
Yes, absolutely.
It's good to be here with an athlete.
April Fool's, I guess.
It's great. All right, so we've got big days coming September 10th. But we'd be crazy not to think that there weren't some big days coming this summer. We've got a big summer ahead of us.
Pastor, we've had a great spring. Easter, what all God did this spring was just special, but we have a huge summer.
Yeah.
Starting 1st of June with Vacation Bible School. What a great week for kids. You know, a lot of times we call it the Revival Week for children.
Yeah.
And we're going to have around 1,500 kids and adults involved in Vacation Bible School on this campus, and we've added something new. At the Boys and Girls Club, too, we're going to have a Vacation Bible School there. So that happens at the 1st of June. Then after that, we have three weeks of youth camp. 6th and 7th grade camp, first week after Vacation Bible School, 8th and 9th grade camp, and then 10th through 12th grade camp. So that's Vacation Bible School and 3 weeks of camp. That's just June.
That's crazy. You know, a couple of months ago, I asked the question in one of our services. I said, how many of you gave your heart to the Lord at either VBS or camp? And I bet 60% of the room raised their hand. And so, man, this is really an opportunity for the church to be praying for our people, praying for our kids, praying for our leaders, because this is one of those things that God is using and has used for a really long time for the sake of just drawing people to Himself. We see people come to know Christ and begin the journey with Jesus every single summer, and I believe He's going to do it again.
Well, you hear all the negative stuff, in the news and around about the next generation. But what God's doing in our church through children and our student ministry is pretty special.
It's not just for kids at VBS and students at camp. We also have kids camp. We've got opportunities for college students. We've got a little bit more going on.
Absolutely, because you go right after the last week of youth camp, you go into July, then you have kids camp.
Yeah.
And then after kids camp, we have the most ever on our choir mission trip to Jacksonville, Florida. 117. Eric Yeldell said it's the most ever our choir has taken on a mission trip, and they're going to Jacksonville, Florida, right after kids camp. And then right after the trip to Jacksonville, Florida for our choir, we have our creative arts camp.
That's a cool camp.
Oh, I love it because kids get to do things a lot of times we don't expect them, and with lights and sound and music and singing and playing instruments. It's an awesome time.
Where a lot of camps are off campus, that particular camp is on campus. It's kind of like VBS, but it gives some very unique opportunities for students that are interested in the arts. Not just the arts, man. There's like karate classes. Right. There's all kinds of things for any boy or girl. And that goes up to what age?
It goes up through middle school.
Through middle school. Yep. So great opportunity for that.
Absolutely.
Creative arts camp is not the last thing.
No. That's not the last thing. Because on the 23rd of July, we have our ministry fair. Our ministry fair is going to be on the 23rd and 30th of July. So we start out in the summer with, hey, these are the ministries that you can be involved with this fall in serving.
Now, this is a new thing for us as a church. Normally, we have Engage, and Engage has been kind of a twofold process. It's a recruiting tool for volunteers and a training time for volunteers. Now we've kind of divided those two events, and we're having a ministry fair first to show people who aren't serving where they could potentially serve.
Spotlighting opportunities to serve.
Yeah.
So, because we want to engage the whole church in serving.
Yeah.
And it shows you opportunities, places that you can serve. And then 1st of August, really the 6th of August, we'll have Engage.
Engage is going to be bigger and better than ever, but it's going to be a completely training-focused event for people who are signed up to serve as a part of our ministry. By the way, we believe that every member of our church ought to prioritize serving at least an hour a week. And so we believe if you're saved, that God's gifted you with the power of the Holy Spirit, and He's given you spiritual gifts that are supposed to be used to build His kingdom and all for His glory. Ephesians 4 verse 12 tells us that our job is to equip the saints for the work of ministry. And so we believe this is a part of what we're supposed to be doing, giving you the opportunity to do what God created you to do. Engage is going to be awesome.
It's going to be exciting because we're really building to Engage. And Engage kind of almost kicks off the fall because after the 6th of August, you go to the 13th of August, and that is a Promotion Sunday. And that's going to be a special day for me because it's my 60th birthday, Pastor.
Wow, you're 60 years old.
60 years old, August the 13th, on Promotion Sunday.
That's great. Well, Promotion Sunday is always a big Sunday for us.
Yes, sir.
It's one of those days where school's getting kicked off, families are coming back from vacation. It's a time to kind of re-up with your commitment to be in church every single week. And this year, we've got a special emphasis on families worshiping together. You know, in the past, we've had moms and dads come into big church and their kids going to small group or at the YMCA or over here, and really families just being on campus for 1 hour. We've seen that one of the greatest reasons that kids leave the church after graduating high school is because they never got plugged into the actual church. They just hung out at their ministry while mom and dad were plugged in. So this year, we really want to encourage you and your family to think about going to worship together for 1 hour and then going to small groups for 1 hour, because that allows you to be in a smaller environment. And I promise you, a big church is always going to be a big church until you get plugged into a small group and start doing life with people that are in the season that you're in right now.
That leads us, Pastor, to the big day of September the 10th, because that's another reason why we're going to the full worship service experience and more Bible study opportunities. We have the 8 o'clock service, which will be the classic service. I think we said it earlier. And what a great opportunity to worship in your heart language, love language, if you will. And then 9 o'clock service, 10:15 service, and 11:30 service. And what's great for students in those 4 services, they'll go to Bible study at the 10:15 service. And so parents have 2 great prime hours to go to worship with their children, with their students at 9 and 11:30. And so you have 2 great opportunities to go to worship and to Bible study. And so to worship as a family and go to Bible study as a family. And so what a great opportunity for students and parents.
No doubt. That's a lot that's happening over the next 100 days.
Absolutely. So September 10th, 4 services, Bible studies kind of changing, hour service, students at 10:15, they're at prime hour to go to a Bible study. It's going to be a great day. But that leads us into the next week, the September the 17th, Harvest Sunday, if you will. It's the special offering for missions and what God is doing in this community and around the world through our missions opportunities.
That's right. You know, the 17th will be a special day, and I want you to go ahead and put that on your calendar so that you're prepared to give sacrificially to world missions. It really does impact the nations as we support missions and missionaries literally around the world. Now, part of that will go to the Lottie Moon offering that's taken up every single year. Part of that offering will go to Annie Armstrong. And if you haven't been around the Southern Baptist world very long, let me just explain that real quick. Lottie Moon, when I say Lottie Moon, those dollars are going to help international missions and missionaries around the world. We have well over 4,000 full-time, fully funded missionaries supporting the Southern Baptist Convention and supporting our church, serving all across the world. And when we give to the Lottie Moon offering, it helps support them. The Annie Armstrong offering is also helping with church planting and church planting efforts across North America, if you will. It helps with the disaster relief. It helps with discipleship ministries. It helps with evangelism efforts. When we give to that offering, it really is helping the United States of America turn back to the Lord, and we all know that that needs to happen. It also helps with our church's mission strategy, which includes our Judea and our Samaria. We believe that God's calling us to completely leave a one campus model and start going to our Judea and Samaria and taking the DNA of this healthy, growing, God-honoring church and transplanting it in our surrounding communities where people are driving from every single week. And you guys have heard about that from Kelly Knaus and our multi-site ministry, and you're going to hear more about those exciting opportunities that are coming to serve in our 423 area in the days to come. So what else are we forgetting?
Pastor, isn't it great to be a part of a church where we're practicing the Great Commission?
You know, it's a novel idea.
It is a novel idea. And one thing about that, you think about missions and what God's doing all through the summer in all generations, really. Mm-hmm. And what God's allowing us to do in Ooltewah on September 10th, that's going to be a special day.
Yeah, so 423 is a bigger area than you think, and Ooltewah is a part of that. And if you want more information on how you can serve, how you can be a part of these efforts as we expand and grow that direction, I want you to follow the prompts at the bottom of the screen. You can send a text, you can shoot an email, you can call the number below, and we would love to give you information on how you can put your gifts to work and be a part of building the kingdom of God in that community. That's going to be an exciting part of what we're doing. Listen, on September 10th, not only are we launching another 4-service model where we can include more people in our worship experiences on this campus, we're launching a new campus in Ooltewah, which will give us the potential to reach hundreds of families that aren't here yet. And man, when we do that, we're going to see people come into faith. We're going to see disciples being made. Sure. We're going to be reaching all generations, and we're going to be making a difference in that community, just like we've made a difference in this community. And that's what the church is all about.
Amen.
So
Absolutely.
These are exciting days. Guys, this is your June and really July update. And so I want you to take this summer and I want you to be prayed up. I want you to be prepared. I want you to be living on mission, and just to remember that this is why we're here. God's put us here in this season for such a time as this. And the last thing I want to be accused of is giving less than 100% to a God who gave 100% to me. And so live this summer in a way that honors the Lord. And I promise you, God will bless your obedience. You guys have a great summer. We'll see you soon.